Hey everyone, welcome to the first lesson of the course. Now, I'm on Cinema 4D and this is what we're going to create. You may have seen it on the introduction lesson, but this is a 3D planet made on Cinema 4D. This is what we're going to be creating here on the course. You can see that it looks like some kind of Play-Doh model in clay on the planet, and that look, we're going to accomplish that look on the end when we apply the materials and the lighting, because materials and lighting are what gives the final touch to anything that we do on Cinema 4D. At first it won't look like this, it will look only like shapes on a planet, but at the end of the course we're going to be creating this very cool effect that gives us a look of the Play-Doh clay. So let's begin with Cinema 4D, of course. Let's on this first lesson we're going to be creating first the planet base, which is the Earth, the sea, and this little road that we have here leading to the house. We're going to be creating everything step by step. First the planet, then the house and the mountains, then the trees, the pigs, the boat, the car, everything in separated lessons, because it's a lot of objects and I want to give anything focus. I want to give focus to every single object that we create, and on the end we will create the lighting and the materials that, as I told you before, is a really important part of anything that we do on Cinema 4D, because we can model the best thing that we can model, but if our lighting and our materials are wrong, everything will look very bad. So it's a very important deal, the lightings and the materials. Okay, now on to Cinema 4D. I open a new document, of course. Now, first thing that we're going to do is to create a sphere. Just create a sphere, leave it there for now. And now let's go to render settings, go to render, edit render settings, and let's change this size to 1280 and 7200. Okay, you can leave the resolution on 72 for now, and let's not add anything else because we're not going to focus on the rendering right now, but I want to focus on the size. This is a proper size for it. Okay, you can see how the size is displayed here. Okay, now it's time to, you can see how the angle is. You can see that we can see the planet, but only half of the planet. Now I want to replicate that here, and for that I'm going to first create a camera, turn on the camera, and now let's fix this angle. The planet should be along here, can be. Okay, try to make it horizontal. If you turn on the camera, you can see how it looks. Actually, we can lower the camera just a little bit and then move it just a little bit. Let's see how it is on our previous render. Okay, I think we can zoom in just a little bit, and here is okay. Okay, now make sure that the camera is on, and if you are going to create anything else, if you are going to move around the area, please turn off the camera so that you don't move the camera at all, because if you turn on the camera and move the view, then you will move the camera as well, so be careful with that. Okay, we have our camera set up. Now let's create the planet base. First we have this sphere. Let's turn off the camera for now. We have this sphere. You can see that the sphere has only 24 segments. Now I want this sphere to have a lot of segments, because the more segments that we have, the better it will look when we apply some sculpting to it. So instead of 24, I'm going to apply, I don't know, it can be 1200 maybe. Yeah, I think 120 it's okay. You can see that now the sphere is much more rounder. Now I want to create two duplicates of this sphere. If you take a look at this, you can see that we have what is the grass of the planet, we have the sea, and we have the road. So if you take a look at it, we have three spheres. Now there's many ways to create this effect, but I'm going to teach you the effect that I know how to do it and the effect that I think looks best for this course. So please create two duplicates of this sphere. Press Ctrl C and Ctrl B twice. Okay. Now the first sphere will be called C, because that will be the sea level. This one will be, let's call this planet, and the third one will be road. Okay, so we have three spheres. Right now they are all the same. You can see that if we turn it on, we can see any difference because they are all the same. But that will change. If you take a look at the planet, right now the radius is on 100. Now take the sea sphere and change the radius from 100 to 19. Okay, now we will have a sphere just a little bit smaller than the other one, like this. In fact, instead of 90, let's call it 95, because I don't want it to be so much smaller. Okay, like this. We can change that later if we want. And the road will be also 95. Let's turn off the road for now. Let's focus on the planet for now. Now let's turn on the camera, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sculpt the planet sphere. I'm going to push some parts of this planet so that we can see the other sphere. So let's change the layout from standard to sculpting, and we will see a bunch of new tools here. You probably know how to use them. Now remember that if the object is not editable, we won't be able to use any of these tools. So we have to take the planet sphere and press the C on your keyboard to make it editable. Now you can see that these tools are available for us to use. Now it's time to create the part of the sea. And before we do that, let's take our planet and let's hit on subdivide to add some more subdivisions to our sphere so that the effect is much smoother. Click again, and if your computer is fast enough, you can click a couple more times. But remember that the most subdivides that we create, the longer it will take to render the final render on the course. So keep in mind that if your computer isn't fast enough, probably it will crash a lot at the end. So be careful with it. Okay, we have the planet now. Now take the pole tool and we're going to create the sea. Let's try to replicate what we did here. You can see I created a circle here and then another circle at the side. So I'm going to try to make it look exactly like this. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look exactly like this, of course. It's just a reference, but let's try to make it as closer as we can. Okay, so remember, take the planet, take the pull tool, and with Control start sculpting. Now make a circle on this part. In fact, let's go back a little bit and let's change the size from 30. Let's try to increase it a lot, like 75. Not too much. Maybe 55. Okay, now press Control. Okay, now start drawing a circle. Remember, this doesn't have to be exact. Just try to create a nice shape for the water. Okay, like this. And now let's turn off the camera for now, and let's add another circle here like this. You can see it's kind of like an egg shape that we're creating here, and if we turn on the camera, you can see that we have a nice shape. You can open up the sea just a little bit more. Let's see how it looks, and you can see that it looks really cool. Now that's it for the sea. Now it's time to create an opening for the road. Now turn on the road for now, and grab again your planet, and this time we're going to select the same pool tool, but instead of 55, let's make it, I don't know, maybe 20 size. Yeah, that can work. And now on the left side of the planet we're going to create like a little road here. Now for that I'm going to take the tool with Control and create this shape like this. Okay, now what we're going to do, because let's create an exercise. Let's create a material for the planet, which will be green. Of course, this won't be the materials that we're going to be using. This is just for an example. Let's create a material which will be blue and a brown material. Now, if we apply these materials, let's see, for example, to the sea, the blue, the green on the planet, and the brown on the road. You can see that we can see the sea because the road is bigger than the other sphere. So what we need to do is to delete this part of this road sphere. And it's really simple to create. Just press the C button on the road sphere to make it editable. And now take your live selection tool, make the polygon selections, and just select all these polygons that we can delete. Take them and press delete, and that's it. Of course, you need to delete what is missing. It's really simple. Just take all these polygons here and delete them. Now we're clean. And that is how you create a simple planet with a sea and a little road. Now please delete these materials because they are really ugly. Delete them because that was just for an exercise. And that's it with the base of the planet. We have now the base planet, we have the sea level, and we have a little road. Of course, we are going to put the house, the mountains, and everything that you can see here, and it will look very cool. Now let's go to the next lesson to create the house and the mountains.